We're laughing because I have something up my nose and people keep telling me I'm not what I'm supposed to do. Oh, we're live.
Oh,
Right,
what?
okay.
I'm sorry.
Enzo could be on his way out of Chelsea. They've set him a deadline of Friday to decide whether or not he's going to go to Manchester City, or indeed if Manchester City are going to make a bid. Jan, this is ridiculous. The transfer window doesn't close until the start of September. These pretend deadlines don't really mean anything, do they?
Well, sort of. I think that you could put pressure on a player and an agent, because in this phase of a transfer window, there are so many consequences of one decision. So if you take Enzo Fernandez, Manchester City, okay, then you have to tell 2 or 3 other players that this is not happening. And same with Chelsea. This is an influential player. This is a player who takes his place. It's interesting to see now, because there's so many questions in going into this Premier League with a lot of new coaches around, and especially by Manchester City after Pep reign, what will happen? I mean, we've seen at Manchester United, we've seen a lot of big clubs when the big manager just leaves you, that they are struggling. This Enzo Fernandez thing, it's hard to analyze, because does this mean that they say that, well, Pep's way of playing, Pep's way of thinking is out the doors? Is this a Maresca thing, that I need that kind of player that will give me that dirtiness, and I say it as positive I can? Do I need that player in midfield? Is this also an answer to Arsenal, that they get this player, Game Mirage, that will get in there, he will stick in there, he will go for the Apollo Creed Rocky battle all over the midfield. Sorry to the young viewers about Rocky, but is that an answer of that? I think that is the interesting thing here, Dan, to see what does this mean, that they say goodbye, or not goodbye, but sort of need that kind of player at Manchester City?
It's a good question, Ali. Is this Enzo trying to kind of put his own DNA on this Manchester City team?
I would ask a more general question. Is Enzo Fernandez this good?
Well, you tell me.
I don't... Look, I like Enzo Fernandez as a player. I think he's a good player. I don't believe he's a great player. I don't believe he's great enough to change the DNA of a team, to change the personality of a team. He may give you something different, but the DNA of Manchester City has been there for years upon years. I don't think it changes with the presence of Enzo Fernandez. I also don't think that he's that great of a player to have this much of an interest and holding clubs hostage to whatever the decision is one way or another. For me, Enzo Fernandez is a good player, but I wouldn't push too hard if I'm Manchester City. I wouldn't be disheartened if I were a Manchester City fan if Enzo Fernandez is not walking through that door.
If I just quick say, Dan, quick say that what I meant. Yeah, I'm with you, Al. I understand what you're saying about his playing ability, but this is something about the kind of brand of a club, a brand of a team, that kind of player. Because Enzo Fernandez, whatever you like him as a player, or how good he is, how you rate him, he will kind of be a part of that team that we will talk a lot about when he's in his first game. We'll get into something there. So I think that's more interesting, more than his playing ability.
I completely agree. I do not see Enzo Fernandez as being a £120 million player. That kind of bemuses me, I'll be honest. The only way this makes any kind of sense is that the expectation is that Roger is going to move on, so therefore there's a gap there, and Maresca has worked with Enzo Fernandez before, and so therefore that's the fit. Otherwise, this makes absolutely no sense to me.
Frank?
It makes no sense because on top of it, citizen fans, they don't want to see him. Chelsea fans are fed up with him. I think all English fans are fed up with him, and citizen fans are fed up with him because of his behavior. He's a good player. I agree with Ali. He's not a great player. I agree with Ali. I don't think he's going to change the DNA of Manchester City. Maybe he can bring something. He's the champion of the world, so he has a value. But really, I would be him. I would try to go to somewhere else if I wanted to go. If I wanted to play, if I want to be play in peace. Because in England, that's going to be very hard for him for the season. And whether he can play for City or Chelsea, I think people are not going to be happy to
Our
see
fans
him
are
anyway.
fickle, Frank. If he plays well, they don't care what happened in the World Cup, or they don't care that he flirted with Manchester City.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't think so. People won't forget. As soon as he's going to do something bad, they're going to, and the press, the media also, they're going to jump on him. He's going to have a hard time. He's going to be under pressure all the time. And we all know, we've been players, to be under pressure for all season long, that's pretty hard to handle, even for a good player.
So waiting on whether or not Enzo Fernandez will join at Manchester City or stay at Chelsea. One thing is for sure, Doku will be staying at Manchester City. He signed an extension to his contract to see him there till 2031. Jan, how do I ask you about Doku without insulting him? But I want to kind of...
Okay, well, that's a good start.
It's good. Is this guy good enough to be the star alongside Erling Haaland at Manchester City? Because that's what they need, isn't it?
Of course.
Well, if I take my striker hat on, he's very good, Doku, when he makes that cross without doing the last trick. And I think that there were times that he found that last season. Then it was major for them. But it's also frustrating when you have that kind of crosser of the ball who doesn't want to cross the ball. Because as a striker, you want to you make that space for yourself.
So why doesn't he cross the ball? Because everybody says the same thing, Jan. I'm sure his coaches have said the same thing. I'm sure his family says the same thing. Why doesn't he do it?
Well, I don't think his family will say when he's going to cross the ball, but I understand what you're saying. No.
He's not married to my wife. She tells me what to do all the time.
Well, my wife tells me a lot because she never told me about crossers. But I do understand that. But I think that is the playing ability. But what we've seen, I think the reason they extend his contract is that they believe you can put those games more often. I mean, his stats at the beginning of his time at Manchester City, with lack of assists, were unbelievable. It shouldn't be possible to make that few for Manchester City because we have a Haaland, we have a lot of players who can get on the goals. But at his best, taking on people, get the early cross in, then at his best, I do understand that they want to extend his contract.
You made some noises, Frank.
Yes, because I don't even understand the presentation of your question. Because Jeremy Doku was unbelievable at the beginning of the season. He was the game changer because of the pace that he puts comparing to the other. Why he doesn't cross? Because that's forbidden to cross when you're at Manchester City. I remind you that Guardiola wanted to not lose the ball. So you go and you come back. You go and you come back. And Doku, when he changed his mind, he said, I go for it. He was a game changer. Semenyo signed half season, and he came and it was a little bit like that at the beginning. This guy is crucial for Manchester City. Yes, Haaland is a key player, scoring goals, but you need a Doku. You need somebody to get the defense crazy because they don't know what to expect. I'm really fond of Jeremy Doku. He's a great player and a good catch for Manchester City.
Shaq?
From a business perspective, it makes perfect sense. Even before we get into whether he crosses or shouldn't cross, he had a couple of years left on his contract. Anything running after that, the kind of
we're not their accountants, Shaq.
I'm just saying from just that perspective, the onus of power shifts to him. So signing him, he's only 24, signing him to an extension makes perfect sense just from that perspective. I like Doku as a player. He's not Semenyo, not that good as Antoine Semenyo, but very effective in what he does.
Can you trust him?
I'll also say this. He was better last season than he was the season before. And I think he continues to show good progression. So for me, it makes perfect sense from a footballing perspective and from a business perspective to extend his contract right now. Now, we could debate whether it should have been 4 or 5 years, but that's up to City. For me, it's a little bit of a no-brainer in terms of a contract extension.
You know how you mentioned the coaches talk to Jeremy Doku, the family, your wife, everybody talks to Jeremy Doku and tells him what to do. I think the most important person that could talk to Jeremy Doku is actually Jan's boy, Erling Haaland. And talk to him and say, listen, Jeremy, let me tell you what's going to happen here. I'm going to make this run here all the time. I'm going to be there. You just put the ball there and I'll go get it. I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to beat that guy. Physically, they can't stay with me. Just put it there. We're going to score. I'm going to score. You're going to have assists. We're going to win games. I'm going to be there. And if I'm not there, then you can tell me. You can raise your hand at me and say, hey, I thought you were going to be there. Have that conversation with Jeremy Doku. I imagine that is a conversation that's already taken place. Your responsibility, Jeremy, is to put the ball right there. And the moment you create that space, I'm making my run because I'm anticipating your cross. If that conversation takes place, as I think it should, because it's basic communication between the striker and a wide player, then Jeremy Doku is far more effective. Less is more with Jeremy Doku because he can be a dominant player due to his speed and his change of pace.
Jan, has that conversation happened?
Well, every striker will do that, and we do know that Erling is very into details, and you will make out deals or runs. But having said that, if Doku don't know about the runs from Erling Haaland, then he should go to check his eyes, because he's done this for the last 10 years. So I mean, that conversation it's not the most necessary thing. I think just use your eyes.
Just a reminder, Jeremy Doku will be in action against Arsenal. Live on Sunday from Cardiff, it's the Community Shield, and it's a game you can watch live on ESPN. Our coverage starts 10 a.m. Eastern.